you can step into motherhood one day of being, the best mom you can be.
God willing. I think when I am around children, what I learn and why I love them so much is the only environment where I don't feel judged. Because children don't really judge you. They just kind of like use you being cute. They just play and stuff. And I remember being around 21 years old and going to like a kid's party and just having the time of my life with these 4-year-olds. And they must have thought I was like some kind of, I need to be on a register of some sort because I was just so obsessed with them. But because I'm always felt so judged and rejected, I always felt almost really at home with children, really loved and at home with children. And I didn't want to kind of make that the responsibility of having a child, for me to feel cushioned and for me to feel at home and for me to feel like I've got an insurance policy I got an emotional connection for the rest of my life. So I think now that I've been out into the real world, I think in a way it's been really healing because I've learned that I actually am maybe not as bad as I think I am, and I'm not as hated as I think I'm actually really appreciated. And therefore, I don't need to rely on this child to heal a wound that they didn't create.
Interesting.
God willing.
Right.
God, if I become a mom, God willing.
This has been really inspiring, Sadia. I'm grateful for your conversation.
No, and like I said to you earlier, I'm so grateful that you've provided society with an alternative to Netflix, an alternative to TV. It's just so impressive, and you're doing such a service to so many people by providing them an alternative. So I really, really appreciate this opportunity. I appreciate it. Yeah, we've got a great team that's doing a lot of the effort and the work behind the scenes to make this possible. And this has been inspiring. How can we be of service to you today? How can we support you? Where can we follow you? Yeah. Where would we like to direct people more about? If they're loving this conversation, how can they get more from you? I still do one-to-one. So at Sadia Psychology on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Still do one-to-ones. I also have a Patreon. If you have a quick question you want to ask me, I'm always available. And I put all of my extended content on there. And you can just pretty much see me on most people's TikTok feeds. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I keep popping up. Even I get annoyed. I see my face and I'm like, oh God, go away. So I do apologize. I happen to be everywhere, but unfortunately, you'll probably see me in most places. Great. You should be everywhere. Unfortunately. So thank you again so much for the opportunity. Of course. Sadia Psychology on Instagram. Is it sadiapsychology.com as well? Yeah, my website. Your website, sadiapsychology.com as well. You're on YouTube also. I'm sure you'll have a lot more stuff coming out in the future. This is a question I ask everyone towards the end called the 3 truths. Okay. So imagine a hypothetical scenario. You get to live as long as you want, Sadia, but it's your last day on earth. Mm-hmm. You have the family, the kids, the career, the relationship, everything you want happens. Right. But for whatever reason, all of your content has to go with you on your last day. Right. So no one has access to this information or anything you ever create in the world. But you get to leave behind a message that shares your 3 lessons to the world, your 3 truths. What would those 3 truths be for you? I would like to express my appreciation to God for creating a set of values that I could have never found by myself in the world that we live in today. So had he not sent his message, I would have been very lost. The other truth I would say is the importance of connection with family and children. Children are really, really healing and important. And if we don't nurture them, unfortunately, we create the members of societies we grow on to hate. So nurture children as much as possible and practice self-control. I would always say practice self-control is self-healing. So if you can form a way of practicing self-control, I promise you it's an investment in your future self that you'll appreciate. Hey, I love that. Before I ask the final question, Sadia, I want to acknowledge you. I know you're probably not going to like me now. I hate this part. You're not going to like me. Maybe you don't want to come back on after this because I'm going to compliment you now. Your healing journey is going to, start and continue when you allow love in, and when you allow compliments and acknowledgement in. And so maybe you won't do it right now, but I want to acknowledge you, Sadia, for your wisdom. Your experience, the challenges that you've been through and are still going through, to be able to have a perspective that can share and support people. And there's, things that you said today that I think will help a lot of people open their eyes. Some things will land, other things won't land. Yeah. Some things are going to resonate deeply and help people overcome a pain in their life. And other things, they may say, that doesn't work for me. Yeah. But either way, I acknowledge you for getting out of your comfort zone, leaning into your confidence,
and being consistent by sharing this information with others, because it is making an impact. So I really appreciate and acknowledge you. And the only thing you're allowed to say is thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
That
That's
was
your
a
practice.
struggle. That was a
That's your
struggle. Yeah,
practice.
thank you.
Of course.
And I was trying my hardest to believe in. Can you believe that my mind starts to believe that you don't mean what you're saying as you're speaking? Isn't that terrible? But I will work on that, and I promise
Yes.
you, when I see you again, I will work on this.
Perfect.
Yeah?
That's your homework.
That's my homework.
That's your exercise.
Thank you so much. I
for a
do
while.
appreciate that.
Okay, Sadia, final question. What's your definition of greatness?
Fulfilling your potential in whatever area that may be, and not relying on highs to soothe your anxieties.
Why do you think women cheat more than men?
Because they're in denial about the infidelity. When they cheat, they don't even label it as that. If a woman starts cheating,
What do they label it as?
They label it as my husband's no longer satisfying me. They won't even say I'm cheating. They'll say my husband isn't satisfied. They find a way to redirect and shift the term.